the things this place we were staying.
Is that like a piranha? There we go. We're back. Jamie Watson, Aaron Pitch-Colin, both players for the Minnesota United, who, by the way, open April 11th in Tampa Bay against the Rowdies. Open at home, then they go to Ottawa, play the Fury, right?
Yep.
And then home April 25th, their home opener against the San Antonio Scorpions, Aaron's former team. And you were telling us about Brazil and wild horses and catching big fish.
Yeah, well, I mean, it was this crazy place we were staying at. We were able to have our own space where we were like privately working out with the teams. We had a couple games there and stuff like that. But then on the flip side, we had a crazy experience of just like wildlife right there at your doorstep sometimes. Sometimes you were like, oh, this is like really cool, and sometimes you were like, what the hell is that thing that's crawling on my door or on me? And Pitch has a couple of cool stories, some of the fun things that we got to do, kind of day in and day out, and I'll let him tell it because he's pretty good at telling the stories.
Well, like we said, we talked about the horses. We got some good fishing. I guess the guy that owns the place, he's got some lakes right around there, and he fills it with fish called pacu, which is a giant. I think they're probably 40 pounds.
Easily 40 pounds.
They're in the piranha family, but they don't have like the sharp teeth. Wow. But when you catch them, they've got like a set of legit teeth.
Molars.
Yeah. So we got to do some fishing there.
And these are straight from the Amazon type fish.
Yeah. So it was pretty cool to check that out.
Wow.
Just kind of in between our sessions after we'd have training in the morning and we'd be relaxed in the afternoon. You get some rest in and then go hang out for a little bit with the guys.
Pitch and I actually won a bet off of one of our teammates because in one of those lakes that were connected, there was this bridge that maybe had enough room. We were in this small little rowboat that we had kind of found. I mean, we're talking janky rowboat type thing. Like, we didn't know if it was going to support us for about 90% of the time. And we got to this bridge, and it barely cleared you. I mean, we're talking you had to lay flat in this janky rowboat. And we started to go under it, and we saw there must have been anywhere from 50 to 60 of the most scary-looking spiders you've ever seen. Talking like black and yellow, black and red, black and super black, like just scary-looking ones.
Oozing poison, I think.
Yeah, and I mean, of course, we're an hour and a half away from any sort of civilization, so we get the great idea because Brett Coleman dares us, or bets us, says, I will give you guys each $100 if you get in this rowboat and you go under this scary bridge with spiders that are less than like 6 inches away from your face. And I mean, I'll do a lot of things for money. So that being the case, Aaron Pitch-Colin is much the same. So Aaron, take it away.
We jumped right at it. We went over our game plan, which was, I don't even know what our game plan was.
It was
don't die.
Don't die.
So we thought we were tough. We laid down on this boat and we made it underneath unscathed.
Wow. The problem is there's a video, and I don't know if it's me or if it's Aaron, but as we get about 3/4 of the way under, you hear the girliest scream you've ever heard.
And I'm not sure if that was me or if that was you.
And
both?
It was probably both. And we ended up making it through, and I was legitimately shaking as our teammate is handing us the crisp $100 bill, and it was all worth it.
Yeah. So he's definitely afraid of spiders. The guy that bet us, Brett Coleman. So he was.
I wouldn't have done it.
We took advantage of his
I'm afraid of spiders too.
Spiders don't do it for me.
When I was a high school reporter, so adult sports writer covering high schools down in South Florida, so it would have been like the early 90s. There was a star wrestler that wrestled at John I. Leonard High School that had to get his arm amputated because he was bit by a spider and the spider laid eggs in his bloodstream.
See, I'm so happy you're telling me that story now.
Yeah, exactly.
If you would have told me then, you couldn't have paid me $1,000 to go by that.
Yeah, no, I don't think that was a bright move by you guys, but I'm glad that you're richer for it.
Yeah.
You guys, I'm fascinated by obviously professional athletes. I've covered pro sports forever. When was it that you both realized that this was something that was going to be your future? Everybody plays soccer as a kid, but nobody, but when is the point point where you realized, you know what, I'm pretty good at this, and I can make this a career?
For me, it was pretty late. I was definitely a late bloomer. In high school and stuff, I was always soccer crazy, just growing up. Just everything I wanted to do. I wanted to play soccer. I wanted to watch soccer. I wanted to be around soccer. But it wasn't until I was in college, and I kind of saw guys around me, guys who I was playing with, getting looks from MLS or getting drafted. So for me, it wasn't until probably my senior year in college where I actually thought, hey, maybe I can do this. It had always been a dream of mine, but it wasn't something like, hey, this is definitely going to happen. It was just always a dream.
Great. Yeah, I mean, mine's a little different than that. I mean, there were two moments I look back at my life and I say these were the moments that I knew. It was when I tried out for my 7th grade basketball team, and the coach laughed at me and was like, "You're not going to make the team." I ended up coming back strong, making the B team in 8th grade. Started. It's not a big deal. We don't have to talk about that. So that's one. And then the second one was when I think it was that same summer, I actually stopped growing and hit 5'8" and realized soccer was the only sport I was ever going to be able to play. So put a lot of eggs in that basket, and it seemed to work out. And I mean, I've been incredibly lucky, fortunate to still get to do it. Right. So I mean, it's without getting too cliche. It was, I mean, something I always wanted. I was a big soccer.
Where did you go to school again, Jim?
I went to UNC Chapel Hill.
Okay, and you went to University of Tampa, right?
I went to University of Tampa my freshman year, and then I finished out my last 3 years at West Virginia University.
Okay, cool. And you're from Colorado. Jamie's from Texas.
Yep.
And I mean, the one interesting thing about here, I mean, how do you wind up in Minnesota? Is it? I know you've played everywhere, right? Puerto Rico. You played San Antonio. You played.
Right. I bounced around a lot, and I guess throughout the years I was lucky enough to play a decent game against Minnesota, and that's kind of how I got in touch with the coaching staff and all that stuff. So yeah, you always gotta play well. I guess you never know who's watching, and you never know how it can turn out. So.
Right.
Yeah, it's funny how Pitch says that, because I actually played a good game with the team in Austin, I think in 2010, which ended up becoming the Orlando team, which is the team I came from. But I played.
There we go. Are you okay?
I mean, if you don't like my story, you can tell me. I can just go for a new one.
That was me pulling your mic out, actually.
No, I had a good game with them, and I guess the coaches remembered that. I came on loan in 2012 for like 6 weeks at the end of the season. Had a good time. I guess I played well then too, and it's crazy how, like Pitch says, you never know kind of who's watching. You think it's just a game for your team, but you never know what kind of impression you leave. And I mean, you cover it all the time. You see guys that will play one game, get let go, and then they're getting picked up next year or later on that season by a team, and you're sitting there going, you're going back to the same locker room or same stadium, but you're going to a different locker room this time. And it's like that with any sport, really. You just kind of sometimes just don't really know how you end up in the place, but you can look back and say maybe it was because I played okay in this game against them. You never know, though.
Are you amazed at what they've built up in playing? It just, as you know, I came to a fair number of games last year, and I was shocked.
What did you think? Did you have a good time?
I was absolutely had an outstanding time, and I was shocked. I honestly had no clue that soccer was as big as it was here, and obviously now Major League Soccer's coming here, which is very appetizing, I think, for a lot of people. But did you have any clue that Minnesota would have this type of product?
I think we did. I don't think others did.
Right.
I think that the people that have known about what Minnesota United is and what it's about and what it can be, weren't too surprised at the announcement, because that was kind of always the ultimate goal when Dr. McGuire took over. He was, for us, he always said, like, this is our goal, is to win championships, be a big part of the community, and make it to MLS one day, and he went about his business, as successfully as with everything he touches, pretty much, right, and made it a reality. But I mean, we've seen it steadily go, and Pitch has been here for 3 years now, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, talk about what you've seen. I mean, it's
for me, it all the only Minnesota I know is from Dr. Bill McGuire, and just looking from the outside, the clubs that when I played for San Antonio and I'd come to play here, and it was just a different atmosphere in the stadium. It was the team did well and they were successful, but there wasn't a lot of fan support behind them. There was the dark clouds and certain patches here and there, but just in in the 3 years, this is the start of my third year. Each year is completely different from the year before, and just the growth that I've seen in my short time here has been incredible.
You, by the way, back in the day, I worked for the Sun Sentinel down in South Florida, so I covered a lot of Fort Lauderdale Striker games there, Lockhart Stadium.
Glory days there.
It was actually fun covering those games. Guys, you're from Colorado. Are you a hockey fan at all?
I dabble in some hockey. The Avs have kind of fallen on some tough times, especially this year. Last year they were decent, but this year they're struggling. But I grew up in the Patrick Waugh, Joe Sakic, Colorado Avalanche. So yeah.
You just said the magic word.
The buzzword.
You just said the magic 2 words put together.
What is the story behind Patrick Waugh and Mike Russo?
Well, what's the story? I don't know what the story is.
Clearly something with him.
Russo's such a all the fights.
I mean, basically what happened is the Wild played a game there. At the end of the game, they were getting beat, and Patrick sent his fourth line out there. Well, he didn't send his fourth line, but he sent Cody McLeod out there.
Goon squad.
And Cody, who was running around all game, attacked Mikhail Granlund, who's basically a skilled center, has never fought a day in his life,
right.
And then went and fought Charlie Coyle. So the rule in NHL hockey is that if you instigate a fight in the last 5 minutes of game, that not only is that player suspended 1 game, but the coach is fined $10,000 the next game. And the referee, Chris Rooney, went out and gave a 2, 5, and 10, which is the right penalties.
Right.
But what he did, instead of calling the 2 and instigator, he called it unsportsmanlike conduct. So I kind of went on a little.
So the referee made a bad call.
Basically, what he did is that it was Patrick Waugh.
Do you think he did that on purpose?
Oh, 100%. Yeah, because he just he called the 2, 5, and 10, which is what he would have.
But he knew he was basically
to save to do a solid for the coach. In my mind, he basically called the unsportsmanlike and not instigator.
So you called him out on it.
So I called the referee out on it.
As you should.
Yeah, and I basically said that it should have been. Well, regardless, the next couple of days I kind of had been really all over the story. Regardless that McLeod and this guy Gabriel Landeskog, their captain, who I'm sure you know, he punched Mikko Koivu from bench to bench.
Yeah.
So both of them should be fined. The league did fine both of them. So I think that is what got under Patrick's skin all week, is that I kind of campaigned for him to get a $10,000 fine.
Yeah.
Regardless, so that a week later, just coincidentally, Wild are playing the Avalanche. So I just wrote a story on just 2 facets of the story. One, them rematching and this rivalry that has been brewing, awesome rivalry that's been brewing the last couple of years. And also the Wild acquired Chris Stewart, who used to play for them. I know that Chris Stewart and McLeod are buddies, but in Carolina, I asked Chris Stewart, is this somebody you would fight? And he basically is like, I'm really good friends with him. Cody McLeod's a great guy, but there's no friends on the ice. That's all I wrote. I did take a couple little pot shots at Cody McLeod in there, basically saying, not even me. I quoted Jared Spurgeon, who's a small guy in the Wild, saying that Cody McLeod likes to go after the small guys on the Wild. Anyway, I'm down in Atlanta. I'm visiting my mother and my brother. I'm about to fly back to Minnesota. I'm not covering the rematch. This is something that I booked months ahead of time. And at 5 o'clock, all of a sudden, I'm getting blown up on Twitter that Patrick Waugh basically went after me and said that my article was unhealthy for the game, and that if Cody McLeod gets hurt tonight, that I better lawyer up, and that I was basically advocating the Wild to go and attack Cody McLeod, which
laughable.
I actually pulled over to the side of the road to read my article again to make sure that because I knew I didn't write that, but sometimes
you don't want to text and drive.
Yeah, exactly. Normally I would, but but I decided that I better I'll text and drive, but not read an entire article and drive. Just kidding. So I just I actually a lot of times sometimes you'll make a sloppy mistake, or even sometimes an editor will insert something and it'll change the meaning or whatever, and so I all of a sudden he went after me.
Now you're ready. You got to duke it out with Patrick Waugh.
Exactly. I basically just I don't know. It was one of those weird things. So it became kind of a national story for a couple days. And that I'm in a fight with a Hall of Fame goaltender, one of the top 2 of all time.
Yeah, right. Well, since Aaron and I are interviewing you now, has there been any contact between you and Patrick Roy at any point?
You know what?
Reach out to you to say the things to you first that he went out publicly said first.
No. I mean, I contacted the Avs to try to, basically talk to him, and no response. And then humorously the other day, Bob Hartley is the Calgary Flames coach, who's very good friends with Patrick Roy. He's like, "Where's Russo? Ron's still pissed at him."
Awesome. That's exactly what your boys should be doing, stirring it up. I mean, it's interesting to hear your stories, because I'm sure you know a lot of the inside stuff, and actually, which leads me into the perfect segue of you actually. I was with you the night in Dallas when you broke that awesome, heartwarming story.
Yeah,
I mean, just unbelievably well written story about Zach Parise and his father. Rest in peace. I mean, he was, it was unbelievable. We're so grateful. My wife and I, we were in Dallas, and we happened to be looking at it, and we were like, the Wild are in town. I mean, this is like, I'm from Dallas. I grew up being a Dallas fan. I always joke, like, I was kind of a Minnesota fan, obligated to be one because I cheered for the old North Stars, and so we were there, and you were, gracious enough. You got us tickets for the game, which had a great time, and we got to go down. I brought some of my buddies pitch, and we were down below the ice, the stands after the game, and we're waiting to see the players. We see Russo there, and he's like, "Hey, have you seen Zach Parise?" And of course, I'm like, "Oh, you mean the guy I just like bro hugged and had a picture with? Like, no big deal, right?"
My best friend Zach Parise.
Yeah, exactly. Let me show you the picture. And he's like, Russo's like, "Yeah, that's great, but I've got to go. And I see Russo. I mean, we're talking like a 4.40 down the hall to go catch up with Parise.
It is the fastest I ran.
Yeah, and I'm like, all right, man, like super weird. Like, why are you just ditching me like that? And the next day or 2 days later, I think the article came out.
Yeah. What happened was Zach. A couple months before I did this story about Zach and his dad. His dad had stage 4 lung cancer, and that one was a real heartwarming story about how just, the fact that JP was dying and how Zach found out and all that, and both of them totally opened up. And right before that game, I found out that JP was put in hospice. And so obviously I'm not going to talk to him before the game, so I want to talk to him afterwards, and then they lose 7-1. Yeah. Right? So you're like, all right, what do I do here? But I just, I was in the locker room, and I was interviewing Parise. And Parise, they lost 7-1, and Parise, and you guys as professional athletes can absolutely relate to this, he, took a swan dive on the ninth. He, basically said how unacceptable it was the way that he was playing and all this stuff. And I'm sitting there, and I'm thinking about, I had already decided, I even texted my editor, look, I'm like, tonight's not the night I'm going to talk to Parise. They just got killed. I don't want to bother him about this. And then I'm listening to him, and he's just beating the crap out of himself. And I just said to myself, you know what, I'm going to put all these quotes of him tomorrow in the paper saying how shitty he's playing. And by the way, we can curse on this as a podcast.
We don't have PG-13.
Okay, I wish I knew that earlier. All right. That's why it's so refreshing to do these podcasts. By the way, I go on K-Fan and I can't say anything. I'm sitting there and I'm listening to this and I'm feeling like my heart's breaking for him because I know behind the scenes. I'm the one that knows behind the scenes what he's been dealing with the last month and a half. And so finally, so then I'm interviewing other players because again they got killed 7-1, and all of a sudden I'm looking for Parise to basically try to get him on the side to talk to him for an off-day story about his dad being put in hospice. And so that's when I came out. I'm looking around and I see Jamie. I'm like, have you seen Parise anywhere? And he's he's gone on his way to the bus,
knocking Jamie out of the way.
Yeah, and I'm like, see ya. And I sprint right after him.
He was awesome.
And I will say I caught up to Parise, and it was it was a really touching interview. I mean, and he was absolutely okay with me writing the story, and I wrote it the next day for the next day. And unfortunately, JP passed away 3 or 4 days later. But it was just coincidental that obviously Jamie was there. But I didn't run into you, I would have never gotten that story because I would have found Zach. And that's the incredible thing. I mean, I'm sure you being somebody that knows hockey and has been in Minnesota now for 3 years, how important Zach Parise is to this game and to this area, and the way that he opens up and as approachable and accessible as he is as a professional athlete. I just think he is the example for all athletes. I mean, it's unbelievable dealing with a guy like that. From a star standpoint, you just don't get better.
Yeah, he was so awesome about how he carried himself too.
Yeah.
All things considered, obviously I had no idea.
Right.
I mean, I don't know how.
And you're catching him after in Europe.
After 7-1.
Yeah.
And I mean, I felt bad because about 10 minutes earlier I was cheering for them to get to 7 because I think you got a free chalupa if they scored 7. And I was the guy that started the chalupa chant. I mean, that was sorry about that, guys. But no, he was like unbelievable about it. He stopped, took a picture with all of us. I mean, like to know he was going through that, and then you wrote the story. It was amazing. I mean, that was really a cool moment. And, you know, I mean, it was just kind of a testament to him. He was my favorite player before, but then kind of knowing all that, it just cemented it. So Zach, I'm sure you're listening. You know, like
he's your best friend, Jamie Watson.
It's me again, Jamie. Good to talk to you again.
It does show what a class act he is. That even after a 7-1 loss, that he sits there and takes that friendly picture with you and things like that. Again, we're talking with Jamie Watson and Aaron Colin, who played for the Minnesota United. This is Michael Russo from the Star Tribune on the Alive and Social Network here at O'Gara's in St. Paul. It's brought to you. You can listen on iTunes and Spreaker and anything. Souhan Unfiltered.com. And it was brought to you by Minnesota Eye Consultant and Guinness Beer. First of all, did you change your name to Colin? I mean, just like, could you have a more perfect name to be a soccer professional athlete than Pitch Colin?
I've never heard the perfect name when you're referring to Pitch Colin. It's an odd one.
Yeah,
but
I mean, to have a nickname like
Pitch.
Pitch.
Like Pitch it works. Now we got a lot of Brazilians on the team. I may just go Pitch. It's just
exactly.
Name. Yeah,
I said that to Manny yesterday. Who do you guys have now that's just a one-named guy?
We got a new guy named Ibsen.
Yeah, Ibsen.
Yeah.
I just think that's the coolest thing about soccer.
So yeah, I'll just be Pitch.
I think that's awesome. Just put it right on your jersey.
Yep.
Irvin Santana banged today for 80-game suspension for performance-enhancing drugs. You should have seen the scene in the Star Tribune today. This happened 10 minutes before our special section was supposed to go to print. So
Irvin, couldn't you do this at a better time?
I mean, it could have been worse. It could have been 10 minutes after.
You got to get steroids when you got to ask me first.
I mean, could you? The way that this absolutely affects the Twins this year could only help you guys, right? I mean, in terms of getting fans out to your games, because this is going to absolutely kill the Twins even more so than maybe this season was going to be. I mean, is that at all an issue in soccer, performance-enhancing drugs, or what?
Why are you looking at my arm?
I'm just saying. I mean,
these are all natural.
I saw you last summer, and you were definitely not 250 pounds.
What do you mean I'm not on steroids? I'm gonna start breaking things now. No, I mean, I don't know if anybody.
Boy, talk about you guys are both sweating. I'm getting a little nervous.
It's hot here.
I don't even know where steroids would help your soccer game.
How do you even get them?
How do you get a hold of?
Who do you talk to? Do you go to Lifetime Fitness? We go to Lifetime Fitness.
I don't know. It might be more like a Gold's Gym type thing.
I think it's more of like Bob's Gym, like
just meathead central,
where you could get like a deal on like a 200-pound box of protein and steroids for like $19.99.
Yeah, it's disappointing to see that happen because I'll tell you what, one of my favorite things in the summer is to go to a Twins game. There's nothing better than a day game on a Sunday. They have a bunch of games, but Tucker Field is awesome.
Yeah.
So I hope they can overcome 80 games. It's a good chunk of the season, and the pitching staff's always been questioned. So we'll see who steps in. But
what do you think of Jamie's news this week that he's having triplets?
They didn't catch that one because he is so anti-social media.
Yeah, why are you not on Twitter, Facebook? I mean, are you in the witness protection?
I'm on nothing. I don't have a Facebook profile. I don't have anything. So I'm so off the grid. You have to call.
Seems like you're hiding something.
You have to.
I'm saying
a lot of question marks around that Pitch Colin guy.
You have to call me or meet me in person. That's how we'll talk.
It's like 1990s with this guy. Yeah. It's like he's the guy that still has a phone, a landline phone with like the 20-foot long cord to it.
Honest to God, I still have an AOL email.
Of course, I actually have an AOL email too. Yeah, awesome.
Oh, best friends. Mom, hang up the phone. I got it.
So, Jamie, big news this week to all your Facebook profile people, your Facebook friends, that you're having triplets.
Yeah. So,
did you? Just tell the story.
Let me jump in before Jamie says something.
Oh, this might be good.
So Jamie's locker is directly next to mine. So every morning I just come in and he's like right into a story, like he's already telling something. So
I've been thinking about my whole ride up.
So even though I didn't have social media, I didn't know anything about it. The next day he comes in, the first thing he's already talking about it. He's like, I got so many people on online yesterday that I said I had triplets. He bought it. April Fools. He's like, that's a great joke.
I was really pleased with myself about that one.
The best is the sonograms that you threw up there as well, showing the 3 triplets.
So that joke came in 3 stages. One was the excitement of, in my head, this is going to go really, really well. And then 2 was I'm really, really doubting myself because I just Googled ultrasound of triplets, and I'm showing my wife, and she's like, what is wrong with you? She doesn't think it's nearly as funny as I do. And then the 3rd stage was when, like, I don't know, a couple hundred people liked it on Facebook, and friends were calling me going, what the hell, are you serious? You're having triplets? Like, you don't know what you're in for? And I'm kind of like, well, you don't know what you're in for because I'm going to tell this story to all my friends because you're the idiot that called me. And, I mean, look, no jokes beneath me, okay? Like, I mean, there's the bottom of the barrel, and I'll scrape through the bottom of the barrel for a joke.
Anybody who knows Jamie Watson, he lives for stuff like that. So any sort of...
thanks, man.
Just grab
That's the nicest thing you've ever said.
Did you like at least like behind the scenes tell some family members that might be on Facebook that, hey, just to let you know, I'm going to come up with like maybe parents?
No, man, I didn't think about that at all. I'm going to be completely honest with you. So that didn't cross my mind once. Maybe should have. But this doesn't beat the time. I think 2 years ago. Mind you, we're having our first child in September, and it's only one. 2 years ago, before we were pregnant, even before we even engaged, I think my wife and I called my parents on April Fool's Day and told them that we were pregnant. And April Fool's on me because their reaction was like, like with Kaylee, right? Yes, Mom and Dad. I've got to go because this isn't funny anymore. Kaylee's looking at me like,
this took a weird turn.
I hate this story. Why did you do this to me? You're sleeping on the couch tonight. So yeah, so it all came full circle now, and look, I mean, I'm really happy with myself. I'm really proud of my behavior.
So on a 1 to 10 scale, 10 being the best April Fool's joke ever, you go 12?
12.
See,
there were some nasty ones on Facebook, though. I was seeing a bunch. Andrew was just telling us about somebody that said they were married.
Our old general manager, Jordan Buholtz, put there that he got married, and that one got a lot of people in the front office hook, line, and sinker because he's still a favorite around the Minnesota United parts. So that was a good one. I applauded him. I think I wrote him a text with a couple of the hand clapping emojis. Did you know what those are? Do you even have those?
What's an emoji?
He still has a flip phone, right?
My phone has buttons.
He's actually playing Snake right now.
So you guys are fantasy football guys, right?
Well, I'm a diehard for it. I was in 3 leagues last year. Pitch actually set our league up last year, and then
during football season, you have to call me commissioner, or I won't respond to you.
Literally, I sit next to him. He won't respond to me. I'll be like, hey, Pitch, will you hand me that? And he'll be like, it's commissioner.
It's commissioner pitch colon. It's the whole phrase.
Yeah.
So we had a good group last year. We had, I think, 10 guys.
Yeah, we had a real good league. It was real competitive, except for the Coleman brothers. They were all.
Oh man, they were the worst.
They got taken advantage of several times in some trades, which. Now looking back on it, I should have been nicer to him because there's no way Brian Coleman will do a trade with me this year.
Yeah.
I was selling him on the idea that he needed to give me Andrew Luck. Who else? Insert top wide receiver here, and I was giving him a 3rd string running back and telling him this guy's going to be the next big thing. Mind you, this isn't a keeper league. And I think I could sell ice to that guy if he was an Eskimo.
Did you accept these trades?
Well, Jamie's all about trades, so he's just trying to. He doesn't care like what's going on. He just wants some action. He just wants to trade somebody for whatever reason. I think his goal at the beginning of the season was to trade every single player he drafted.
It happened. It happened by week 7.
Yeah.
Who's your number 1 pick?
Oh gosh.
Okay, so let's set up the story because we decide any fantasy league can just go online and do your draft online.
Right.
Your Yahoo, your ESPN, that's boring. So we decided to do the live draft and get the big board, get all the stickers, and make an evening of it.
Commish did a great job of setting it up. Fantastic live draft.
So yeah, thank you, Nick. So yeah, we set it all up. I think the Colemans hosted it, so that's probably why they're more invited in the league. It's a good draft.
Hey, can we use your house?
Yeah,
yes. Okay, you guys want to play in the league?
So we set it up there. We made a good night of it. Jamie, actually, we decided our draft ranking, like where you pick in the draft, by crossbar challenge.
Like a skill game.
Which in soccer terms is you get the ball, you're about 35 yards out, and you have to clip the ball and you have to hit the crossbar on the goal. So the last person, I think the first person to hit it went 1, 2, 3, 4.
So I'm not all look-through, so I've got a little bit of skill in me.
So for whatever reason, Jamie found a way to hit the crossbar, so he got the first pick in the draft, and then I'll let you take this.
So I'm shopping with my missus, and right next to us is just a rundown, just like a place that you don't want to go to. A little place called Kmart, and they're running this super hot special for $7.99. A jersey of a certain player that I'm sitting there thinking, this is my guy this year. This is who I want for my first pick. So I go in, I make this purchase, I keep it in a bag, conceal it for about a week and a half. And I mean, this kills me because if you know me, I can't keep it secret, because if there's something good, I want everyone to know it, right? So we finally get to the draft night. I get up to the podium. Mind you, there is no podium. I make a podium off of like a bar stool at the Coleman's house, and I reach into the bag and I let everyone know what the first pick. Team Romo wasn't built in a day. Selects from your Minnesota Vikings, and I reach in the bag and I take out an Adrian Peterson jersey. No. Adrian Peterson. And then I get lots of claps. I'm really happy with myself. I mean, nobody sees this coming, right? For the rest of the draft, I'm wearing my AP jersey, right? Life is great. Here I go. Put me in the championship right now. Actually, going to PayPal me the money. I'm ready to win it. And then the news breaks a week or so later. The whole mess with AP. And I think
how'd you end up in fantasy?
I think a first-round playoff exit. I squeaked into the playoffs last day. Yeah. So, Adrian, if you're listening, along with Zach, I'm sure they're probably together listening, you owe me $10. And $7.99 for that jersey. So you can just PayPal me that. But it was a great time, man. I'm hooked about it. You're not much of a fantasy football guy, though, are you?
No. I used to, honestly, first of all, one year I lost, in the playoffs by, honestly, a quarter of a point.
Yeah, that makes you want to,
honestly, I almost, it's ridiculous.
Are you
we're telling, to make $200 in this league, and I almost tore my condo apart.
You playing with family, friends?
Yeah, family and friends. Okay. And the other thing is, I just, from, on a Sunday, you cover practice or you cover a game, and you're just staring at Stat Tracker for, an hour.
Yes.
And for not even an hour, hours. And you're sitting there, and you're just angry at yourself, and you put somebody in your bench.
It's a roller coaster of emotions.
And I just, finally, I couldn't function. I just absolutely quit. And it just... Honestly, I can't do it anymore.
Yeah, you're moving on from this story way too fast. You owe somebody somewhere an entry fee that you didn't pay.
No. I just did. It's just one of those things. I just honestly could not function. It used to ruin my week if I lost. And
Mike Russo's the guy that doesn't pay his entry.
Yeah,
he sounds like, hey, I got it.
You're that guy.
Yeah, I know.
That's him.
There's always a couple.
Or even worse, pay up because I was always the commissioner.
It ruined our one time that Andrea Yacht got us tickets to a game at TCF Bank to watch the Redskins Vikings game. Real barn burner there. I think it ended 9-7.
There were some good field goals though.
Yeah, yeah. And actually, I think I picked up, what's the tight end for the Vikings?
Rudolph?
Yeah, I picked Rudolph up that week, I think. But I was playing pitch, and he had Cordell Patterson. And Patterson, I kid you not, had 3 50-yard long bombs where he had beaten the defender clear off, and it dropped right through his hands. And every time I looked over at Aaron, who was 2 or 3 seats over, and the guy looked like he wanted to cry. You know what I mean? Because he knew what was going to happen. It led to eventually me beating him throughout the week, so now he has to listen to that for another year, and I remind him all the time about it. And it totally just ruined our experience because we were looking at our phones the entire day, trying to figure out who was in the lead so who could talk trash for that quarter, you know?
Talking with Jamie Watson and Aaron Cohen of the Minnesota United. You're Super Troopers fans, right?
Big time. I love Super Troopers. Super Troopers defined my freshman year in college. Freshman year at University of Tampa, I remember going to the movie theater with all my soccer buddies and watching that movie and laughing like all the time. The meow.
The first scene.
Hurry up, meow. Yeah. Oh my God, it's classic.
You got to do that this year, like when you're being interviewed after the game, just throw in a bunch of meows.
Gosh.
Did you see recently? Actually, one of the.
I saw a hockey guy did it.
Yeah. But you know what? I just sent this to Stolhansky yesterday. I'll find it. But hang on, I gotta find it.
I can't. How many Super Trooper lines do we drop on the daily?
I mean, on the reg, a solid.
I gotta introduce you guys.
We have a group of like 30. A group of like 30 lines that we just regurgitate at any certain moment.
Super Troopers. You offer to get somebody a drink. You're like,
if nobody says anything, cream. What's cream?
No
cream. No cream. Like, I feel like Stolhansky would hate me.
Yeah.
Because I would want to be like, hey, let's say those lines again. He'd probably be like, listen, asshole, it's been like 10 years of that every day of my life. I don't want to say those lines.
But just once.
But come on, let's do the thing.
Hurry up, meow.
He'd probably start calling me Farva. And I'm super psyched that there's going to be a second one.
Yeah, I love what they're doing.
Gio Gonzalez, the Nationals pitcher, by the way.
How many?
He threw like 10 meows into
beautiful.
Every time he tried to say now in every sentence, but he changed to meow.
I just gave a lot of respect for Gio Gonzalez.
Your pitch is so serious that I feel like he could pull that off so much better. Because if I did it, it'd be like, there's Jamie, like, he's going to do the meow game. But you wouldn't expect it from pitch because he gives off the well put together captain persona.
You guys have radio announcers, right? That do your games? Or?
Yeah.
Lidholm?
Yes. Lidholm.
Oh, you got to do it with him.
Yeah. Next chance I get, I'm dropping it.
Oh,
how many? Did he do 12? I got to beat it, right?
I think he did. I'll tell you in a second.
Because what is it? You got to do 10 in Super Troopers, right?
Yeah, because he gets 9.
Okay.
Gets up and then.
I'll email this to your AOL account.
Oh yeah.
I tweeted to you, but you're not on Twitter.
There they are signing on, guys.
You've got mail. 10 meows.
10 meals.
Yep.
All right. That's so. The bar's been set.
How about this? Well, that's a perfect segue because our first game's on the 25th. That could be the first time you try to get Lindholm with that.
Yep.
And we should try to get a listener to that game. What do you think?
Yeah, for sure.
Some kind of like a trivia question.
Yeah.
You know what? You should actually. You have tickets here, right?
I've got tickets in my hand.
There's nowhere. Jamie Watson just walks around this town with like jerseys.
He's like in my jersey.
He's just the media man.
The media darling.
Yeah. I wouldn't say darling. Well, he's in the media.
No, you're right. You had it right.
I wouldn't say darling.
We should come up with a question. I got to go. I'm going to throw it up on my Twitter right now. So if you're listening live right now, you deserve to win this. So I'm going to throw up my Twitter, Jamie Watson 77. I'm going to throw a Twitter question on there that involves me and Aaron Pitchcolin. We'll get Russo to retweet it to his 10 million followers that he has. By the way, how are you so popular? Oh my gosh.
The longevity, I think.
Unbelievable. This guy.
Is 10 million good? Is that a lot? Is that good in Twitter world?
That's like having a lot of AOL Instant Messenger buddies.
I bet you if you work on it for a little while, you can get Aaron on Twitter. There's
no chance. This guy he's unbreakable. And you know what? Actually, he's either going to get on voluntarily or I'm going to make a Twitter account for him and I'm going to tweet for him. And you're going to, I promise you don't want me to do that.
Yeah, I know.
Fake Coach Carl. Yeah, pitch his thoughts. Like, Coach Carl Craig's talking again. Oh man, I'm dozing off again. What was that, Carl? I don't really care, Carl. No, that's obviously just keep Carl's hilarious. If you want to listen to Carl talk, because he's good for golden lines.
Yeah, he's good.
All right, I'm gonna put this up now. You guys talk amongst yourself. I'm gonna fire off a golden.
So Super Troopers 2, you are excited to see this now?
Absolutely.
Yep.
Like it's what, 10 years in the making?
Yep.
15 years in the making.
They've had the script for a while. Yeah. You actually went to the Broken Lizard thing that I went to last summer.
Yeah.
2 summers ago.
I think it was 2 summers ago.
Yep.
Was it Mill City Nights?
Yeah, it was Steve Lemmy and Kevin Heffernan, Farva, and Rabbit. Eric Stolhansky made a little cameo in the middle.
They all had they had like a two-man setup, little stand-up comedy in the beginning, and then all their buddies joined in. It was awesome.
Yeah, that was honestly one of the great parts of that was hanging out with them after the show. And we went across the street to Cowboy Jack's.
Okay.
And apparently at Cowboy Jack's, they actually have like a Super Troopers shot or something. And the big one is the Farva. And all of a sudden, in the middle of their bar, is Kevin Heffernan and Steve Lemmy and Eric Stolhansky. So we're on the roof of Cowboy Jack's. I probably shouldn't tell this story, but I don't think they care. These guys don't do anything, right? So we're on the roof of this, and the manager's going around telling everybody, all right, we're closed.
I'm sorry, were you just concerned that the Super Trooper guys, the Broken Lizard guys, were going to be concerned with what you're telling on the show?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Stolhansky, trust me, he's listening.
Okay.
He always listens. So in fact, we're going to have Stolhansky on this one of the show. Yeah, listen right meow. And so we're on the roof, and they're closing the place down. And all of a sudden, he's going around, and all of a sudden, the manager stares at Farva, Kevin Heffernan, and just pauses. He goes, "Hold on a second," and he's telling everybody else to leave. And then he brings these guys downstairs. He goes, "You're not going to believe this, but we have a Super Trooper shot here, and we got to have you guys take the shot on camera." And so they all took pictures of these guys taking the Super Trooper shot, but Farva doing the Farva. Nice. And then the way it works is like Rabbit's like a little shot, and then every character is a bigger shot, and the Farva is like basically in a pint glass.
And a liter.
And these guys are doing shots with the manager.
How recognizable are those guys around
town? It's unbelievable. Stolhansky lives here.
Yeah.
And he's the president of the Minnesota Film Board. Obviously, he's been in a ton of movies, Beer Fest, Club Dread. This is all their thing.
Yeah.
But I can tell you, there is never a time that I am with Stolhansky that somebody doesn't recognize him and come up to him and want him to. I was at Tom Reed's, which is a sports bar in St. Paul.
Yep.
And we're there one night, and somebody actually went to the back of to basically the kitchen and said, "Do you guys have maple syrup?" And they had maple syrup there because they serve breakfast sometimes at Tom Reed. And this person came out, and she had Stolhansky take a picture of him guzzling maple syrup on this camera. And he is so nice when it comes to that.
Yeah. All right. I think it's out. I got a fresh tweet. I'm hitting that beautiful button. Pitch. I'll let you hit the
I don't even know what.
This is gonna be your first tweet.
Let's see what it does.
He's gonna hit delete.
You just hit that button right there.
All right. Do I need to read what it says?
Nope. That's it. It is live.
It's out there. It's on the line.
On the line. Jamie Watson 77 for your chance to win 4 tickets to our home opener.
Wow, 4 tickets.
4 tickets to our home opener on April 25th against the San Antonio Scorpions at the National Sports Center in Blaine. Your chance.
First person to tweet back?
First person to tweet it back.
All right, so should I read it on the air too?
Yeah, let's go for it.
But you got to follow Jamie Watson 77 on Twitter and Pitch Colon at
Twitterless Pitch
at
AOL.com.
Trivia time for a chance to win 4 tickets to our home opener on April 25th against the San Antonio Scorpions. That's going to be when Pitch just absolutely gives it to his old team.
That's right.
It's like 3 or 4 goals. What game last season did Aaron Pitch Colon and I both score in? So last night, the Wild got 2 goals in the same game from Bannock and Pominville. How many games did those 2 score together? This is your version of that. Pitch and Jamie Watson scored in the last game.
It doesn't happen often, so you got to enjoy that when it happens. Pitch scored a couple of good goals last year.
Every once in a while, I'll find my way in there.
And then we get to run.
I went to one game. I wonder if I went to that game. I don't want to ask you on the air. I almost asked you. That just tells you how dense I am.
You went to the game you went to. The first one you went to was the game against Mexico, right? You played against the Mexico U23s, and you sat in the cabana.
Yeah, was that Mexico? I thought
you got the cabanas there that important people were sitting in. You were down there.
I went to the Swansea game.
Swansea game was funny. We scored right in front of you because there's an awesome picture of you and Paul Fletcher, our boy. A bunch of your friends were there, and you guys were going crazy, and we're running over celebrating. And I'm sitting there going, this guy's our good luck charm. Russo's there, and we're scoring goals like a minute into the game.
We've caught on to something.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. We
Russo in the cabana.
Yep, we were after the game. We were just out in the field taking penalty shots.
We had a great time with that.
Fletcher's pretty good. He doesn't look like an athlete, but he is.
He's one of those sneaky good players.
He was apparently, I asked him, he's just an incredible hockey player. We're talking about Paul Fletcher from Cities 97. The guy that spins records, I think, still on Cities 97.
Drops the hits.
Stuff like Say Something and Sam Smith and all those just.
He's the guy's like a music junkie. Yeah. He's our buddy though. We him and I we keep talking about it. Russo, we may need to go through you on this one. My dream was to always play hockey. I loved hockey. I think I liked hockey more as a kid than I did soccer. Like Mike Modano was the man. He was my all-time idol, right? Favorite sports guy. And I always wanted to play hockey, but when you're my size, you don't want to play hockey because you don't want to die. And I want to at some point get out there and skate, maybe hit a wrist shot. I mean, there's no chance I'm getting a slap. A slap shot would hurt me. But I want to get out on the ice and skate. And
first of all, do you skate at all?
I can actually skate, believe it or not.
So that was going to be the first step, because I know a guy that
said the same thing.
No, I know a guy that basically he's in the hospital now. That he teaches adults how to skate. So
you're coming out with a skate lesson.
No. Is that like skate lessons? We're gonna pizza slice, pizza French fries. We're gonna basically go past the skate lesson. I think this is something that the Wild and you guys, Minnesota United, could get together.
Yes. And
ZP, a cool thing.
ZP, I know you're listening. Again, it's like the third time I'm name dropping you this interview. Let's get on the ice, you and me, and hang out.
Well, when I ran up to
just
that day, the first thing he said to me was, "You're not gonna believe that I just took a picture with Jamie Watson." That's what he said to me.
I told him, I was like, "Hey man, it's not a big deal. You know, we both are pro athletes in Minnesota." And he was like, "Oh, cool, man. Hey, we just lost 7-1." And I'm like,
our season's falling apart.
I'm hiding my chalupa. Yeah. He's like texting Dubnik, like, "Hey man, please come here and save our season."
Yeah, and, exactly. Hey, did you just see the goaltending that we just got, Jamie? And you want me to take a picture?
Yeah, right. You know, it's no, but that's my Minnesota dream while I'm here. Yeah. So a lot of eggs in that basket. Your basket of making that one happen.
Let's play hockey. You did the other day, right?
Yeah, we nailed it.
Yep. Yeah, you guys were awesome.
We've done. Me and Justin Davis did it a couple months back, and then we did it a couple nights ago, and Wild are 2-0 every time we do it. So it's
boom. Somebody got it right, by the way.
We have our first answer. Wow,
is that how it works?
That's so
that people get back to you?
Yep.
Wow.
I'm gonna probably butcher this. Nick Guimont. Is that how you think?
Yeah.
Hey, hockey guy, you got to know how to be able to say French last names.
Guimont.
Yeah.
I think Guimont.
Guimont.
You
got it right.
Is that too French?
You got it right.
I think that's right. So Aaron, this is how it works. This is a telephone. This is what we do is we hit this refresh button, and then see, no one said anything to me, so nothing refreshed there. But
nice.
But we got a winner.
We do have a winner.
And it's very clear he's a Minnesota United fan. Has pictures of Minnesota United on his Facebook, on his Twitter account.
And he's got some University of Minnesota hockey in there. That's a perfect match.
Yeah, exactly. So congratulations, Nick Guimont. Courtesy of Aaron Pitchcolin and Jamie Watson. You were going to the and Andrew Yock, of course. August 20, not August, that was when you scored it. April 25th, San Antonio, up in Blaine. You were going to, you and your three buddies are going to see them play their home opener.
And you get a game-worn Aaron Pitchcolin jockstrap.
We have not even asked you about what this season is going to be like. How excited are you about this year?
Yeah, I mean it's great. We've had a great preseason. Obviously, our trips to Brazil and Arizona have gotten us out of the cold, and we've been able to get out there and work on all our off-season stuff. And we're really excited for the season. I think our first home game we're going to be close to 10,000 people up in Blaine, so it's going to be a crazy atmosphere. And we're just getting ready to start in Tampa and then Ottawa and then start again at home.
How long is training camp? It's been
we got in early February, so
let's not forget about the off-season fitness program that got mailed to us December 15th.
There's that. As far as organized stuff goes, we've been here since February 10th?
I think so. Yeah, I think.
Where did you guys train in Arizona?
We were in the beautiful Casa Grande area.
Lovely this time of year.
Is that Phoenix?
Casa Grande.
It's in between Phoenix and Tucson.
Okay.
In the middle, like in the place that you just drive right on past because you don't want to stop there. There's like tumbleweeds going through. We were in the middle of it. It's a lot like Brazil.
Scorpions and rattlesnakes.
Yeah. It was, but it was cool though because that's where we got to again spend a lot of time with the team. Like we did our fitness stuff. We played some games. Like the biggest thing for me, I've been proud of is like how much commitment the guys have put in to getting fit. Because the hardest part for us, obviously, is getting to a level of fitness and then maintaining it. I mean, because it goes so much easier than it comes, and we worked a lot on that. We've really gotten together with some of these trips that we've spent. So the team right now is getting to a point where we're really everybody's coming together, and it's a lot of fun to be around because there are days in practice when it gets super competitive for sure, but at the end, guys will get competitive, kick each other, and then as soon as the coaches are like, all right, that's it for the day, guys are the first ones to pick each other back up and then get on with it and get to laughing again about whatever it is that's going on.
The cool thing about our team this year is we had so much success last year that we pretty much have a good group coming back who had a great year last year. So we've added a couple pieces here and there, and all our new players are seamlessly come in and done well. So I think it's definitely an exciting time.
Right. Do you is championship, is this material here?
Oh, of course.
Yep.
We were so close last year.
Yeah.
I think it left a bad taste in our mouth, and I think we're just excited to get this whole thing going again and kind of right our wrongs from the end of last year.
Right. You live in Colorado still, and
yeah, I still have family out there, so
okay.
I'm in and out of there.
Okay, but are you pretty much here full time?
Yeah. I'll be here in the off season this year.
Okay, and you live in Texas, or you pretty much live here all full time?
Yeah, my parents are still in Texas. Kaylee's family's in Florida, so we spent some time in Florida. We got married in Florida, so we spent a lot of time there, and then we kind of we were just trying to get out of the cold weather here, so we spent time everywhere but Minnesota in the off season. So we get our fix from February to November when we're here, and then December and January we get the hell out of Dodge.
We'll have to get you out to more Wild games.
Sold.
Yeah,
I'm there.
Yeah, didn't you? Were you not up in the press box last year?
Yeah, we saw you up in the press box,
okay.
and it was cool to see you in your working environment. Because
was that awkward? Did you try to pretend like you didn't know Jamie?
No. I was going to put Jamie to work.
I didn't think he'd show up.
Quotes for me, and that'd be awesome.
Like you're sitting there firing away on the computer, and I'm like, hey, if you push these 3 buttons, Control Alt Delete the button at the same time, watch what happens.
Yeah.
And then Russo was like, get the hell out of here.
I've had some horrifying moments in the press box, in the physical memory dump and all.
Well, yeah, what happened if you get the blue screen?
That happened to me on the night that Scotty Bowman retired from the NHL. Honestly, it was.
It's like the blue, he refers to it as the blue screen of Death Night.
Yeah, it was
like
it
blue screen of Death Night 04.
Yeah.
It was
one of my
dark night.
Remember the old flip modems, the little plastic thing that would come out?
Of course, Aaron remembers that.
You mean my modem?
Yeah, exactly.
We need a replacement. He's your guy.
Well, I'm up in the press box in Calgary once, and I'm covering the Florida Panthers, and Kirk Muller scores the tying goal with like a minute and a half left. So the Palm Beach Post writer gets up to look at the replay, and his foot wraps around the cord. He takes off. Not only does my cord come out of my computer, but the little plastic clip just snaps in half and flies right over the press box.
Of course it does. It couldn't do anything nice and easy and fall right there. It has to go land in somebody's beer down in section 104.
Yeah, it was brutal. And I look at him mortified. There's nothing I could do now. I'm in Calgary. It's 1 a.m. back in the Eastern time zone, and I'm looking at him. And I'm like, what the fuck did you just do? and there's nothing, he's on deadline too, so he's like, he wants to show sympathy, but he really cannot.
But he doesn't have enough time to.
And now, so I pick up the phone and I call my paper. I'm like, you're not going to believe this. My computer just, there's nothing I can do. They're like, well, you're going to have to dictate your story. I'm like, all right, I'll dictate you what I got, but the Panthers just tied the game, so now it's like everything I have in the computer is kind of inaccurate. So not only I'm on the phone to Florida dictating my story, but I'm winging them a dictation. Like, the entire game, the complexion just changed. Like, I'm trashing them in my article, and they just tied the game up with a minute and a half left.
You're an innovator. Yeah. You live tweeted before.
Exactly.
So you are the inventor.
Another gazillion-dollar idea. Another gazillion-dollar deal.
That's fantatic. Good to meet you. You're the guy that invented that.
By the way, I have a friend of mine that still is convinced that I cost him being rich, because he's the one, like years ago, he's like, I have a great idea. Like, how cool would it be if you mailed people movies? I'm like, how stupid are you? Like, you don't mail people movies. He still thinks that he could have invented.
Now, Blockbuster, that's a good idea.
Yeah, exactly.
You need to go buy some stock.
Yeah.
But everything you own in
Blockbuster has legs. That's gonna be generational.
Going places.
Yep.
Real quickly, I'm gonna wrap up the show, but just like this season right now, a couple players that on your team that Minnesota United fans should really look at this year and get excited about.
Oh, you're talking to him.
Exactly.
Oh, other than us?
Other than you two.
Oh, so good players. Okay, so the really good players. We've got our captain Aaron Pitch going. He's an important part of the team.
Pretty good.
We got Miguel Ibarra playing with the national team now. Christian Ramirez, a young guy coming off a 20-goal season. It's going to be exciting to see what he can do again. Ibsen, we talked about him earlier. I mean, man, we could go through and talk about everybody on the team.
I think that's, especially going back to last season with all the success we had, you couldn't really name a couple players here or there. It was really just a total team effort.
Right.
But
has anybody ever wanted to strip the C from Pitch?
Pitch doesn't have stripping of his own in the locker room, so no one's trying to take that off. Sometimes he wears just the C on his arm.
Yeah, is that weird?
Captain's arm, man.
I'll bet you Corey View does that too.
Yeah. You guys, you and Miko.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what you should be. Don't answer if people don't call you captain.
That's
captain, my captain.
I wonder if we can get you and Miko to do like Sports Illustrated the body, but like where you just have your C's on your arm, and then like maybe you're back to back, butt to butt. He's got a stick, you've got a ball.
There we go.
Man, you really do have a future in marketing.
Or other things.
Marketing is what you got out of that one?
Thanks, that went a lot better than I thought it was going to when you started that sentence.
I'm just saying, you have all these brilliant ideas. You are the media darling.
My best one, a lot of eggs in that basket. The ass-to-ass matcher of the two captains. Well, on that note,
that's how we're going to end this.
Absolute high.
Let's wrap this up quick.
Well, really do appreciate you coming out here to O'Gara's here in St. Paul. Brought to you by Minnesota Eye Consultants and Guinness. This is Jamie Watson and Aaron Pitchcolan, the captain of the Minnesota United. Everybody wants him to stay captain, though. There's no fans tweeting every day, strip the C from Pitt. We've learned that. This is Michael Russo from the Star Tribune on the Alive and Social Network. Thanks for joining us, guys.
Thanks for having us.
Awesome.